welcome back everybody to Pop Culture Conspiracy. I'm your host T. How are y'all doing today? And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Columbia University protest and New York. Before I hop in, please like, share, and subscribe, and let's talk in the comments. So what's going on at Columbia is very strategic and symbolic. Columbia is an Ivy League university, and it is surrounded by a host of other universities that have a lot of Jewish students, a lot of them wealthy, and a lot of those schools as well are very invested into Israel. But the fact that Columbia, of all schools, is the one trying to divest the most, or they want you to believe their students want to divest from Israel, that is nothing but biblical prophecy being fulfilled. A lot of this mess with this Israel versus Palestine stuff, y'all know, biblical prophecy. There's a group of people running around with a fake ID, changing the world, wreaking havoc because of this biblical story with Jacob and Esau and fallen angels running this bitch. Like, y'all, a lot of it's connected. Because I always wonder with the story of Jacob and Esau, it's like there's definitely got to be some kind of fallen angel influence into that, or you know what I'm saying? There's definitely got to be. Somehow that story has to connect with fallen angels, because with the situation with Columbia, right? The students, they're claiming, some of them paid actors, some of them actual students. Because again, most of those actual kids don't give a damn about what's going on. They just want to graduate. They just paid $300K to go to this super prestigious school. They don't really care about all this mess going on overseas. But biblical prophecy would have it that there's got to be people who are riled up about it, because what's going on, again, is biblical. It is important. It is pissing some people off. Like, again, there is a fight between the oohs and the Hebrews and the real versus the fake. Like, and people's minds are becoming awake to things. So I just feel like with some of this stuff, it's sometimes the dark side has to do certain things just to like energy harvest, rile things up, make things look a certain way. They got to make media, they got to make news, they got to make TV. There's got to be a distraction. There's got to be mess going on. But the fact that it's this particular mess, it's like they have to play out their part in the prophecy too. Because some of this stuff, again, with these kids, it's like a lot of these kids at Columbia don't even really give a damn about half this stuff. So the people who you see going the hardest, yes, a lot of them are paid actors and actresses. And they're allowed to have the shit that they're allowed to do because everybody playing a role. Everything from Columbia to these actors and actresses, the staff at Columbia and everything. It's a lot of mess going on. But why is it really going on though? Because yes, there's a group of people that are running around with power that is questionable. And it's starting to get exposed who those people are and how they got their power and what they're doing with it. And a lot of it is rubbing people the wrong way. So again, biblical prophecy, the last shall be first, the first shall be last. When it comes to Columbia and some of these students who are truly disgusted with their school being involved in Israel and stuff like that, you guys, what is going on in this world is deeper than your school having investment in Israel. I went to a private college. There was a lot of Jewish people there. And it really exposes to you, that experience really exposes to you, again, there is no escaping it. These people run the medical industry. They run the government. They run banking. They run entertainment. They run this world. So there is no escaping from their influence, their ownership, their leadership, their power. The real powers in this world are spiritual. You as a human being, you have to pick a spiritual side to get on, because you are not powerful enough. You and your homies is not powerful enough to defeat who is running this world alone. It's generations and generations and thousands of years of practice that have allowed these people to continue to rule the world. And their children will go on to rule the world because of agreements and all type of spiritual law and all type of foolery. So it's not really worth getting your panties in a bunch protesting your Ivy League school. What is worth thinking about is this. If you really feel like you don't deal with schools that invest in Israel, that means you're going to have to give up some of that prestige that comes with that. And you might want to look at your local state school or another private school, because most elite schools of any kind definitely invest in all type of things, because never forget, school is a business. Some schools have become diploma mills so they can make this generation, and many generations, debt slaves, wage slaves. So again, education is a classist, elitist, ugly business that is all about making money and keeping money. A lot of schools don't have their finances together themselves. And those that do want to keep finances together so they can keep their school open, because their school is, again, a diploma mill / indoctrination camp. Colleges have become indoctrination camps. This is what I'm saying. It's deeper than your school being invested into Israel. These people these Zionists, they run the education system. Like they're at every top schools. They're on every top school's board of regents and board of shareholders and stuff like that. Like they're all over the place in leadership positions running this bitch. They run real estate. They run education. They run everything. You have to understand that. You've got to cope with that. Because it's one thing to say, oh, my school. It's another thing to be like, oh my gosh, like, hey, there's really no running from this. Like, let me just figure out how to navigate around it in peace. So that's another reason why I feel like, again, this stuff with these students at Columbia, it's really orchestrated, because it's really all a part of tearing down Columbia and, again, a new world, right? But if we're tearing down Columbia, why? Because of the exposure. That's what I'm saying. Kids who don't want to deal with their school, their education being influenced by Israel and Zionists, you're going to have to leave and go to other schools, which, guess what, depreciates and degrades the elitist status of Columbia. And truly, over time, other Ivy Leagues, everybody that was once known as the bee's knees, including celebrities and a lot of other people, will eventually really not have that same prestige and status, because people are waking up to who you guys really answer to, who you people's bosses are, what you people really support, what you're really all about. So yes, like for these students, you can't have it both ways. You can't want to benefit from the elitism and from the prestige and the classism that is your prestigious university, while wanting them to divest from those very things that make them elite and stand out. But again, you don't want to go to a state school. You don't want to go to another kind of private school because you feel like it's not as top notch. But again, the very things that you don't like about the school are what make it what it is. A lot of people who are getting money, lots and lots of money, strange amounts of money. A lot of people who, again, are in positions of power. A lot of people who are certain places in the world, they are where they are because they're a part of a lodge. They are where they are because they've taken an oath. So they get the power that comes along with making that spiritual contract. This is the tea. And that's what's being exposed here. But again, all of those spiritual powers come together to make Columbia an elite school, all of that elite backing. So if you don't want them to be involved in that circle, then the best way to handle that is to see your way out. And like less students enrolling, may disintegrate that power structure. But until y'all keep running over there because you want to be able to say you went to an Ivy League and you went to Columbia and all this other shit, like you're just gonna have to keep dealing with the things that come along with that, which is investment into Israel. Then people are not about to divest from their main source of bankroll. Because again, very few of y'all, it's a lot of rich kids going to these schools, but very few of y'all parents have 300 bands, a year, or what? I think their tuition is $89,000 a year. Like, come on now. A lot of y'all are still getting some kind of financial assistance, whether it's 10 grand a year, whether it's 15 grand a year. You know what I'm saying? Your parents still may be shelling out 60 G's, but they may not be shelling out the whole 89. And they're able to shell out, the school's able to supplement you because they're getting money from donors. It may be blood money, it may be dirty money, but This is the world we live in. So just keep that in mind with Columbia and the school and some of the stuff that's going on with that. When it comes to New York, again, of all Ivy League schools, it's happening to the one in New York. Because New York is on its ass. New York is falling apart. New York got so much going on right now. I've been telling y'all, get the hell out of New York. Scarred Lip with her song, This Is New York. They've been trying to tell you, get your ass up out of New York, bro. Like, they don't want you there. They're trying to turn it into some dystopian place for billionaires. So that's really, again, a part of New York's new plan. They got a new governor because they got a new plan. They got a new mayor because they got a new plan. Peep, new powership, new leadership, new powers. So they have a new plan. Part of the new plan is new people. So that's why they got all of these migrants here. Homeless people everywhere, rent still high as hell, migrants all over the place, migrants getting money. They're making New York uncomfortable on purpose so you can get your ass up out of there. So all these kids who just are so pissed off and, all of this, hey, y'all need to take your education and get the hell out of New York. Because they're even doing it to these rich kids with making their campus super uncomfortable and protesters and tents everywhere on their campus, just destroying and degrading. New York is going through the fall right now. This is supposed to be the place where there's the Statue of Liberty, but it's going through the fall. And of all universities, it's the Ivy League because it signifies, again, the fall of power structures, the fall of elitism, the fact that there's a lot of rich people who have left New York. And it looks the way it looks. This is not the New York that we recall on Sex and the City. This is the new New York. And that's them telling you, the fall. It's the fall of it all. They're doing the same thing to California. What was once big and grand and great and elite and, high status and prestigious is now in the gutter. The falling of status, the fall from grace. So that's what we are seeing in New York. And part of that is going on because, again, it's all being exposed with who's really running stuff. And that's why it's falling apart, because the truth is being revealed. So let's talk in the comments, you guys.